Radford. This is Kaylee from Thin Blue Line Canine. And this video will help you get through our wilderness agility course. One of the toughest obstacles to accomplish is the very first one. It's the A-frame. You have to work together as a team with your dog. The closer you are to your dog, the more control you have over your dog. So if your dog is afraid of this obstacle right off the bat, we recommend hanging on to just a regular collar and working together as a team to get the dog to go to the halfway point. Once they get to the halfway point up to the top, they're usually good going down the rest. So here's how it looks in the finished product. Heel up. Heel down. Good girl. That's what it looks like with a professional dog. Kaylee's been through this thing probably about 500 times. So the first time is usually the toughest. Just get to the top, work together as a team, be really close to your dog. If you have a harness, you can hang onto the harness or you can hang onto the regular leash and just work together to get to that halfway point. So this is a tunnel the command is going to be through. Some dogs have difficulty going through the tunnel. They get scared and maybe a little claustrophobic. So the first time through, you can sometimes toss a treat in there. Sometimes if you toss it maybe a few feet in and then toss one a little bit further, you can entice your dog to go in. Other times you can use a long line. You can have one person on one side and another person on the other. So you, again, work together as a team to accomplish the task. And that's the goal of all of this, is to accomplish those tasks so that your dog will increase their self-confidence. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. Kaylee, do. Good girl. Notice I'm only saying the command once. I'm saying the dog's name once, command once, and then when they come through, they get their reward. For Kaylee, I just give her a good girl, and she's good with that. Tabletops can be another tricky one. These are 5 little tops, and the dog has to go on each one. They have a little bit of movement to them, so the dogs can kind of freak out. The key is to go through quickly. Work together as a team. The closer you are to your dog, the more control you're going to have. So if you have a harness on your dog, you have a leash, you want to be, or just a regular collar, you want to be really close to go through the first time. And really one step at a time is the key. So this is what it looks like when they've been on it multiple times and they're very confident on it. Kaylee up. Go girl. Okay, the simple jump. A simple jump is the next obstacle. Sometimes a dog is not used to jumping, and you have to help them out. So a lot of times if we are going to go do the jump for the first time and my dog is not responding, you can kind of work together. You can actually lift your dog up over. If you're going to do that, kind of be like a forklift. So you're going to have your first hand under here, you're going to have your other arm under here, you're going to lift with your legs, not your back. So you can lift and kind of catapult your dog over this obstacle. It should be pretty easy once they've been through a few times. This is where Kaylee looks like. And the command is over. Kaylee, over. Good girl. Next obstacle we're going to show you is the teeter-totter. Very, very challenging for a lot of dogs the first time. As you can see, it goes down once the weight distributes. So really the key is, what we're going to show you is to work together as a team, be close to your dog. Sometimes you got to be firm and fair. If you want your dog to go through the first time, you can do it. If your dog is freaking out, you just have to let them know that they can trust you. You're not putting them in a position to fail. And the key for the teeter-totter is to slow down at the halfway point, let the weight distribute, and then to continue on. So here's what it looks like with Kaylee going through. Kaylee up. She's going to slow down, weight's going to distribute, and then she goes down. Go girl. All right guys, hopefully these helpful tips will help you master our wilderness agility course. We have over 24 different pieces on a 1 mile course. It's awesome fun. It's a great workout. And I think with these little tips, you'll master it. If you have any questions ever when you're here, you just reach out to someone from Thin Blue Line Canine. We'll be more than happy to help you. But good luck, spread the word on this awesome course, and we'll see you soon. So the thing that separates Thin Blue Line Canine from any other program probably in New England, my experience training police dogs for 22 years. We also have an indoor state-of-the-art training facility, and we also have the only outdoor wilderness agility course in the Northeast. It's tailored towards what police dogs have to go through, and it's about a mile long, a very challenging course that taps into building self-confidence, building obedience, and teaching new skills to dogs. Board and Train is an intensive training program that really is tailored towards each specific dog's issues. So if you have a dog, for example, that has major aggression issues, I may do an assessment and I may recommend a 3-week board and train program. If you have a dog that just needs an increase in healing or recall percentage, we may do a shorter program, anywhere from 10 to 14 days. So it really depends on what the specific dog is, what the client wants. It's tailor-made for each specific dog. The first session of our board and train is the morning energy burn with obedience, which may include a fast walk, a play session, and basic obedience to include sit stays, recalls, and healing. Training session 2 is a fast-paced obedience session, which could include multiple fast-paced commands, a combination of agility and obedience, and a play session with obedience. Session 3 concentrates on agility. If it's a nice day, we will go on the Wilderness Canine course, which is the only one of its kind in the Northeast, and that includes a 1-mile run through the woods and 22 agility pieces. If it's an inclement weather day, we will do agility inside. Training session number 4 includes problem solving and socialization. That includes dog reactivity, human reactivity, any issues with recalls or healing, any specific problems such as chasing cars, bikes, or runners. Training session number 5 is technical obedience. So we're working on recall percentage. How many times does the dog come back on his or her own? Healing percentage. How often is the dog staying in place when we heal?
Good boy.
Also, sit-stay times and distance.
Port sit. Port heel.
So during our board and train program, we really treat your dog like they were our own. And we will take care of your feeding needs. If they have any specific medical issues, we will really follow any directions that the client gives us so that your dog is taken care of here just like they would be at home. And with an additional structured program of 5 training programs per day, a ton of exercise, and a ton of love and attention from all of our employees. Welcome to DogWise. This is your headquarters for dog knowledge. I'm Tom Radford. I'm the owner of Thin Blue Line Canine, which is where we're recording live tonight on this beautiful night in Williston, Vermont. And with me I have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. I've known him for over 20 years. We're on the Canine Committee together. He is in the Vermont Police Canine Hall of Fame. He was inducted in the initial class in 2008. He's one of the top police canine handlers in the state of Vermont. And he's on his 3rd dog, Canine Ozzy, who is going to make a visit later on tonight, about halfway through. His name is Dave Dewey of Colchester Police Department. Welcome, Dave. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you. God, I think you're embarrassing me.
That's right. I like Dave and I have been known each other for a long time, done a lot of trainings together, and if I can embarrass him on this show, that's a wonderful thing for sure. That's like the highlight of my night.
Yes.
We got a couple questions we're going to ask you. Actually, we've got 21 different questions we're going to ask you, and we're going to talk back and forth. We're going to kind of get into the brain of a actual police canine handler, see what it's like to do the job. And if anybody has any questions out there, make sure you send them our way, okay? So my first question, Dave, is when did you start as a police canine handler, and when did you know that this is what you wanted to do for a career?
So I saw my first police canine demo. I was probably 9 years old, and as soon as I saw that, it was I think it was state police in Connecticut, and from that point forward, I had this vision in my mind that this is what I was going to do. I, like a lot of little boys that want to be a firefighter or a police officer, work on the ambulance, I got to do all those things, and everything kept pushing me back to being a cop, and along with that was being a canine handler. I started my career, did a year in Stowe, but then started full-time Winooski in '95. And like so many young cops come into the job, I want to be canine, I want to be canine. And I told some people there that, and they're like, Dave, it's been tried before, it doesn't work, don't even bother. And I took the mindset of, well, it didn't work for them, but wait till it works for me or doesn't work for me. So I did a wicked fundraiser in Winooski, raised up enough money, got a dog, and started training Canine Kilo in '99. And been doing it ever since. Best part of my job, hands down.
Awesome. So you had Kilo, and then
so I worked Kilo. He was born in '98. I worked him till in 2002. I went to Colchester. Winooski was making some budget cuts, and canine is an extra. Then Kilo died in '06. Yeah, 2006. I got Taser shortly after that, and then after Taser died, I've been working Ozzy for about 3 years now.
Awesome. And again, we're going to meet Ozzy a little bit later tonight, and we're actually going to do a live demo, so definitely make sure you stay tuned for that later on. I am also a police canine instructor. I've taken many bites in my career, but I've never taken one from Ozzy. I'm doing, we're kind of crazy here because I should have probably taken a bite from him earlier.
Probably should have done practice, but
I didn't.
As so many handlers say, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, so what qualities does it take to be a police canine handler?
It's several. I think first it starts with being a decent cop. A lot of people think that they can get into being a police officer and then immediately go into canine, and people have to understand that working canine is in addition to all of the other things that police officers do. And most of us, especially in Vermont, we're still taking all the calls everybody else does. We go to domestics, we go to crashes, we go to rescue calls and fire calls, and go to barking dog complaints, ironically enough. So we have to be good at all that first. And then comes the canine possibilities. You got to be willing to work hard, got to be willing to get dirty. Got to be willing to work more than your 40 hours that you're actually getting paid for. You've got to be willing to go dig stuff up and deal with things like dog vomit, dog diarrhea, a messy car. You got to have the right home life for it. My wife loves Ozzy, but he drives her crazy.
Why?
It's because he never stops. He never stops. He has to have a toy, and not just one, all of them generally. Many parts of police work, all aspects of police work affect your home life, but one of the basic words of advice that people give cops and anybody in any career is don't take work home with you. As a canine handler, you literally do take work home with you. You take your police car home with you. I had to build a new driveway because my cruiser in front of my house was getting vandalized. So you take your car home with you. You get called in often enough, and then you obviously have the dog that goes home with you all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a willingness to be much more flexible than probably any other position in law enforcement. I tell people all the time that it's much harder than I ever thought it would ever be, but it's also so much more fun.
So you're still having fun?
I am still having
Yeah,
fun.
that's great. Because you've been doing it since Kilo, since you started with Kilo. How many years has it been?
So 22 years?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome to have a job that you still love to do.
I still love it.
Incredible.
The current climate certainly makes it a little bit different, but I still believe I still have the best job in law enforcement.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. Is it fair to say that good decision-making skills is pretty important too? And
so I could keep going about that. Sorry. Being the canine handler, when we get called to a scene, we're often looked at as borderline experts in use of force type of situations because the dog can be a use of force. We're looked at as experts in searching and in finding people, whether it's a suspect that's on the run or a lost missing person. We're not experts, but it is part of the job that we get to do a lot more of than a lot of other aspects in law enforcement.
I would call you an expert in certain situations for sure. Yeah. I mean, Dave's an instructor. He's chairman of the Vermont Police Canine Committee, the Vermont Criminal Justice Training Council Canine Committee, which we're on that together. That committee oversees the whole entire program. Dave does a bang-up job as a chairman and keeps the program going in the right direction. And so, I would say that there's a good chance that you're definitely an expert in certain situations. So, Dave's always been a very humble person. We're going to kind of fluff him up a little bit tonight because, that's the way it should be for sure. Yeah, that's fine. No problem. What qualities does it take to do your job? What qualities does it take for a dog to be a police canine? Like, what are you looking for when you select a police dog? What qualities? Very few dogs on this planet can call themselves police dogs. So, what are you looking for when you're looking for that dog?
I'll talk about what I looked at when I was checking out Ozzy. It really is a job interview for the dog. There's some things that you can really measure. I know you've got a great system that assigns points and measurements and all that, and that is so horribly important. But there's also your gut feeling. And with Ozzy, Ozzy came to me kind of a roundabout way, much different than a lot of other canines come to their handlers. But he was at my house for a few weeks, and when I started looking at him as a good prospect for a police canine, one of the things I looked at was I took him in the backyard, and I realized pretty quickly he loved a soccer ball. So I took that soccer ball, kicked it as hard as I could, and there's a part that I mow, and then there's a part that was like waist-high grass, just the field. And that ball went off into the field. Ozzy got to the edge of the tall grass with zero hesitation, launched himself airborne into that tall grass, not knowing anything as to what was in there, and then went after that ball and found it. And it was that. In one respect, it's a lack of self-preservation, but at the same time, I knew that he was going to go through whatever he had to get to whatever that goal was. So there's awesome. That goal orientation that I look for. I like
grab your phone.
Yeah, I prefer a dog that is play or toy driven versus food driven. There's a time and a place to reward a dog with food, and I think there's some great things you can do with that, but I prefer a dog that wants a toy. So they've got to be crazy for toys. And they've got to be social. Before I started working the dogs, I thought that the ideal police dog was the biggest, meanest, most badassest dog out there. And there's a time you have to put the dog into that mindset.
We can't swear on this show, by the way.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
That didn't count.
Just kidding.
I'm working really hard. There's a time you have to put the dog in that mindset, but they don't have to live their whole lives there. And so to take a dog that I can make be, the big growly, teeth, snarly, everything that some people picture all police dogs are, but he sleeps on the bed with me. I can take him to an elementary school and not worry about him biting every kid there. It's that flexibility and that adaptability that I really look for. And then, so once I got a really good feel for Ozzy and the things that I wanted to do with him, that's when I took, so people know, I took him to Tom, because I knew Tom had a great system for evaluating dogs as potential police dogs, and I knew that he was a third person, unbiased, would tell me if the dog sucked. So, it's...
And truth be told, I gave Ozzy a thumbs up.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've been happy with him since.
So, and we haven't even mentioned what breed Ozzy is. Tell us what breed.
So Ozzy is a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
I like the Malinois breed. They're just crazy enough to be police dogs. All the things that make a dog a good police dog are often the things that make a dog not a very good home dog.
Right, exactly. I call Mal's shepherds on crack.
Shepherds on crack.
So we train them sometimes here, and I got to just segue real quick. Make sure you like and share this show, guys. That's how word spreads, and that's how we get the word out. Make sure you go to thinbluelinecanine.net. We have an awesome website there. You can do everything right on that website. You can go there, you can sign up for classes, you can fill out all the paperwork, you can pay, and we're the only dog training company in the state that has an online calendar. So you can sit at your desk with your coffee, beer, whatever, and do everything right there, one-stop shopping. So make sure you do that. We do one-on-ones, we do group classes, we do board and trains. We have an awesome agility course, which I think you like, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, any of the agility courses are great. I
Yeah.
love that this one's up in the woods.
Yep, and it's a mile long where, you know, it's a great, definitely great option. So just get that out of the way real quick. So, yeah, Belgian Malinois are shepherds on crack. In my eyes, we have the one-on-ones that come here that are Mals, and people are overwhelmed by them. They get a 4 or 5 month old Mal, and they are overwhelmed. So
there are tons of videos out there.
Yeah.
There was one I was showing my family the other day. It's a litter of Mal puppies that were just destroying their handler, gnawing on his legs, working their way up his body, and so
Yep.
on. And yeah, they make great police dogs. They make horrible home dogs. They just do.
yeah.
Horrible.
So we got just a couple comments. Melissa Salatino, one of our awesome Gold Star clients. She's been with us from the beginning. Did I just lose it? She was just saying thank you for your service. So
Oh, thanks. I hear that, and believe me, I hear that a lot, and I appreciate it every single time. It means a lot when people tell us that. It really does. You have no idea how much we appreciate it.
yeah, so we lost. We have a little technical difficulty here, but no problem. We're going to roll on.
That's your
So that is that's your phone. Okay, Dave. So you've had 3 police dogs. We've already talked about it. Okay. We're going to segue into another question that I had about your 3 police dogs. I'm going to give you, we're kind of bouncing around, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a task that has to be done, okay? I'm putting you on the spot here, okay? And, you know, no disrespect to any of the other dogs. You had 3 awesome dogs. I want you to rank them from 1 to the best to 2nd and then 3rd. If you had to get into that situation, which one would you pick 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hang on. I got to tell you what the task is, okay?
Oh.
Drug searching. You got to go into a building and find drugs. Which one of your 3 dogs are you going to put first?
So I'm going to avoid your question and say that each dog is different and each dog has his strengths.
Okay.
Kilo was my first dog. In many ways, he will always be my favorite.
Yep.
But he wasn't the best. He taught me.
Okay.
Taser.
You're totally like not answering my question.
I know. Well, no, I
You're
will
sabotaging the show.
100%. Taser is the one that really was like kind of the prime of my career. I was younger, I was in better shape. I was able to go a lot longer, do a lot more things without having to pay for it for so many days after. And he was kind of solid in a lot of these things. Ozzy's still new. He's young. We're still working on that.
Okay.
I don't think a cop isn't really solid in their job until they're a good 2-3 years into the job. And I think it's the same with the dogs.
Okay.
He's young.
Sorry.
But drug searches, yes, I'll answer your questions.
Okay, so which dog would you pick for drug searches?
For drug searches, I would have taken Taser.
Okay.
Taser. Yep.
Okay, so we have, what about tracking?
Tracking would be Kilo.
Okay, cool. And
Yep.
so Kilo was a German Shepherd.
Kilo was a 110-pound, all-black German Shepherd. He had 7 white chest hairs. I had to count. At the time, he was the biggest police dog in the state.
He was, and it hurt when he hit the sleeve, by the way.
It did. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Taser, 75-pound Belgian Malinois. He was
Hurt when he hit the
second
sleeve,
Mal in
too.
state. Yep, he was. It was right after Kilo died. I was playing with the first Malinois in the state. It was with Ed Hunter.
Yes.
And fell in
Maximus.
love with the breed. Fell in love with the breed. Yep.
Great.
And then Ozzy is a 52-pound
Yeah.
Belgian Malinois, literally half the size of Kilo.
Yep. But hard-hitting dog still.
Oh,
we'll
he's
see that
fast.
later.
So fast.
Yeah. So building search. So you have to go into a building and get bad guy out.
So building search, I would take Taser.
Taser. I knew you were going to
Yep.
say that. Yeah.
Yep. And I will tell you, Ozzy, we're still perfecting it, but the way we do building searches has changed a little bit too.
Yes.
It used to be, send the dog in, they find him, bite him, and then we go in to get to where the suspect is being handled by the dog. And now it's more of on-leash stuff, where if Ozzy bites somebody in a building, it's like fishing, and I just bring him back to me. It's safer for me, it's safer for the bad guy, and it's safer for the dog.
Yeah, for sure. And the great thing about the canine program in Vermont, I can't speak for any other programs in the country, but they really do adjust according to the times, and we're always looking for like new ways to train and the best practices and all that good stuff. So it's a great organization for sure. Let's see. What about protection work? So you're getting your butt handed to you. Who are you calling?
Protection work, I would take Kilo.
Kilo, yeah.
110 pounds. People would see him, and the comments were, "Holy cow! Look at the size of him."
Yeah.
And back
Yeah.
right down. And
Do you remember we were doing night training at the academy, and I was holding the sleeve, and Kilo came out of nowhere, and we had the lighting was not good at all. So basically, Kilo, all black, 110-pound German Shepherd, is coming at me full bore, and I didn't see him until like a second before. Do you remember me talking about that? Yeah. And it was like, holy crap, I didn't even see him till the last second. And he hit hard, but that's one of my favorite memories of training down at the academy.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, maybe a black shepherd's not a good idea at night training, just FYI. That's kind of what my thought process was after that. What about if you had to do like a demo at a school?
So demos at the school, Kilo was great because he was totally non-aggressive towards any of the kids. But Taser was wonderful because I could have him immediately sit, bark, down, jump up on the table, climb over this, up over, and do really whatever I needed him to do. And especially with a younger crowd, we didn't do bite work. Younger crowds, I didn't want to be the one to teach them about drugs, so it was just teach them about a crazy police dog. So Taser was wonderful at that. And Ozzy is certainly getting that way. We did a demo recently at the Union Memorial School, did like 4 demos. And the kids loved it when Ozzy and I went down the slide together.
Awesome.
So he's certainly coming a long way with that.
That's great. I think we're going to take a quick break. Make sure you guys like this, share it. Make sure you stay tuned. Later on in the program, we're going to meet Ozzy, and we're going to do a live demo after, which is always risky. So, hey, make sure you're watching that. Make sure you check out thinbluelinec9.net, which is where we're recording from, for all of your dog training needs. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the break. Thanks. I am Tom Radford from Thin Blue Line Canine. Obedience is our business. I estimate that at least 95% of dog owners out there need some kind of help with their dog. Put it sit. Put it down. Good boy. Put it come. Put it sit. Put it heel. We specialize in training the owner how to train the dog. And we're using techniques and philosophies that I've obtained in a 22-year career training police dogs. I had an incredible career with my police dog, Stoney. We are inducted into the Canine Hall of Fame at the Vermont Police Academy. Kitty through. Go, girl! We're training your dog, your pet dog, like we would at the Academy, a police dog. So we are shooting for high-end obedience and high-end balance and confidence. And really, when we use that system that we use down at the police academy and transfer it over to your dog, excellence occurs. And really, you walk out the door with a dog that has knowledge and skills that no other dog has, because nobody else is teaching these principles and these philosophies that I have obtained through decades of being an instructor through the police academy. The Thin Blue Line Canine will take any dog, any breed, any problem.
TT Livestream specializes in video streaming live events in real time with the utmost care and accuracy. We pride ourselves in our ability to connect friends and family virtually so they can share in life's most treasured moments. Weddings, birthdays, memorial services, sporting events, or conferences. Whatever the event, whatever moment you would like to share with your loved ones far away, we can help.
All right, welcome back to DogWise, your headquarters for dog knowledge. We have here Vermont Police Canine Hall of Fame handler Dave Dewey. We're going to see his third police dog, Ozzy, a little bit later after the next break. We're going to do a live demo later, which is always fun when you do it live, and because you never know what's going to happen there. So welcome back. We were just having some talks with Dave about what it's like to be a police dog handler, the ins and outs of that. We're going to look at some questions here. First of all, Melissa Salatino is asking a question. Does Ozzy act as a support to kids and adults involved in an accident? So,
awesome. No, unfortunately, mostly because Ozzy's a little bit crazy. He wants to run and play and pee on things. But there's definitely time. I've had people, especially if they come to our office. I've had kids. I've had victims of domestic violence, those types of things. I think any dog is a wonderful icebreaker. Ozzy's a little bit different than some of the other dogs. He's not a cuddly dog. When somebody new comes into the office, he'll come up to him, he'll sniff at him. It's like, yep, cool, bye, thanks, and off doing his thing. So he's not super cuddly like that, but people do love to watch him, and it's a great icebreaker. It's something to talk about. Everybody loves the dog. So yes and no, to answer your question.
okay, great. So we've talked about how you have had 3 police dogs. You've had Kilo, you've had Taser, now you have Ozzy. So if you could describe each of the dogs, starting with Kilo, in one word, what would it be?
Kilo would be big. Taser would be awesome, really. Taser was a pretty awesome working dog. And Ozzy, I'll have to use 3: small but mighty.
Small but mighty?
Yeah.
That's 3 words.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Breaking the rules again, Dave. All right. So in 2008, you were inducted into the initial class of the Vermont Police Canine Hall of Fame, which was a great day. And it was a great event. There were, in that initial class, I believe there were 15 handlers that were inducted that day. I was down there. It was fun. It was very memorable. What do you remember about that day, and what did that mean to you?
I think what I'll go outside a little bit. One of the things I love about doing canine demos is I get to brag about what we do. I love what, as handlers, what we do. I love as a cop what we get to do. But I love to talk about what the dogs get to do. Life-saving awards, tracking, drug fines, building searches, and so on. So having the Hall of Fame as one of the first things you see when you get onto the academy, if you guys have not been there, it is worth going down there. It is one of the first things you see. Really gets to highlight some of the work that happens across the state, and not just currently or the last quarter or whatever, but for 30 years of working dogs in the state. And what it meant to be was to look on that wall and to see some of the, I won't put anybody on the spot, but to be lumped in the same group with some people that I had looked up to my entire career to that point. And
you can mention names if you want.
Well, I think there's several. There's Linda Elric, Bobby Ryan, Gary Geneva.
Yeah.
And then even after that, some of the teams have gone on that I've gotten to work with and train with, and see that again we're all in that same category. It's humbling, and it's an honor to be on there, really.
Yeah, and I think there's the first recorded incidents I think that were mentioned on the Canine Hall of Fame, I think are from like 1979. So I think Fred Bush started in 70. So it's like 40 plus years. And some great handlers, great stories, great dogs. Obviously, it's all about the dogs.
Yeah.
And I think the Hall of Fame information is all on the website for the Vermont Police Canine Association.
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, so if anybody wants to go there, and they can scroll down and take a look, it's pretty cool stuff. So here's a question from Tanya Beauregard, one of our regulars. What would you say are the biggest challenges some of the Vermont PDs with canine units are faced with? She's asking funding, training, equipment.
Yep. Oh, it's easy. It's funding. It will always be a challenge. But the Canine Association has done such a wonderful job of filling in the gaps.
Yeah, what the heck is the Canine Association?
So the Canine, there's kind of three prongs with Canine in Vermont. One is the Canine Committee that Tom talked about. One is the Canine Program, which is the formal training that's done at the Police Academy. And then there's the Canine Association, which was created in 2000 to support all of the above. Canine Association is a nonprofit. We do year-round fundraising. In addition to golf tournaments, we just did a lawnmower raffle. We do Iron Dog. I mean, the list goes on of the things we're always doing to fundraise. But the association has paid for things like GPS units, flashlights, tracking harnesses. The association arranges for body armor for all of the dogs. We get so much to the association and training. So as much as the association can fill in the gaps with training, departments still many of them being short-staffed, still have to find the time to be able to send the handler to it. So the association may cover the cost, but the departments still have to look at, like today was a training day for me, so the department still has to cover my shift, which
when you're gone.
Means overtime, which means more cops doing more things all the time. So
Right.
Those are some of the biggest challenges right now.
Yeah, and we're going to give a quick shout out to Lacey's Fund too. Lacey's Fund kind of dovetails off the Vermont Police Canine Association. Tell us 2 seconds what that's all about.
So our dogs, most of the dogs around the state, when they're working, they're taken care of. Their medical needs are taken care of by the individual agencies. But the day they retire, they're no longer the agency's problem or responsibility. And Lacey's Fund has stepped in to cover the major medical needs of dogs when they retire. Dogs, like professional athletes, when they're working, they're active, they're moving, they're going, and so on. But a lot of the injuries that professional athletes get don't show up until retirement. And with the dogs, we're talking specifically bad hips and bad knees are some of the more common things. To fix those is expensive, and that's where Lacey's Fund comes in, to be able to give the dogs a good, hopefully lengthy, long-term healthy retirement.
Yeah, it's a great program for sure.
So in reality, Ozzy has better medical in his retirement than I do. Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully that'll change before you retire.
I hope so.
What do you got, about 25 years left?
Yeah, it seems it. Yes.
So what are the pros and cons of being a police canine handler?
So we could spend the rest of the time talking about the pros of it. It is the best job in the world. I get to,
Awesome.
When we make a find of whether it's a suspect or a missing person, and it's a find of someone that would not have been found without a dog, that is the most amazing feeling ever. But even just knowing, sometimes some of our tracks, some of our searches are simply not knowing where the person did not go. And then somebody else can start looking, and they know that they don't have to work on that.
What's your most memorable tracking find?
One of my most memorable tracking finds is it was a suicidal woman years ago. It was Valentine's Day. She had made some comments via Facebook and such that she was going to go off into the woods, take some pills, drink herself to death. Found out her vehicle was in Colchester. We did a track. It was in the woods, so I grabbed the game warden. If I find the person, I'm counting on the game warden to get us out. And we tracked for, it was probably 2 miles off into the woods. It was 4 degrees.
Yeah, I was going to say it was really cold, yeah.
It was like 4 degrees.
Incident.
And we found her pants were frozen to her. She was semi-conscious, passed out against a tree.
Yeah.
And
That was a life-saving
that was
track.
a life-saving
Yeah,
work.
that was
That was
awesome.
amazing. That was amazing. There was not a doubt in my mind that she would have died in the woods that night if we didn't find her. And Colchester Tech Rescue, they were able to send a team out, got to us within about an hour.
Was that Kilo or Taser?
That was Taser.
Okay.
That was Taser, yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So, yeah, stuff like that. That's the most amazing feeling. The cons, I went probably the first 8 years or so of working dogs without ever traveling on vacation because I didn't have a solid place that I would take my dog to.
Well, now you can take them to Thin Blue Line Canine.
Now we do, and I've built some good contacts and so on. So I know that my dogs are good now. But that's one of the things, and even just it's like having any other dog where if you want to go out for dinner, you want to go camping, you want to go out for the evening, you need to plan ahead. I can't be gone for 8 hours. I need to come home at some point and take care of the dogs. But knowing that I can't just call up my neighbor and say, hey, can you let Ozzy out for me? Can't just do that.
No, you can't.
Have my kids, hey guys, you're home, I'm not.
No.
Take the police dog
Because ultimately
out.
that's Colchester's
It's
dog.
Colchester and on me.
Yeah.
And, we just can't do that. So it again, back to what we were talking about earlier, it is taking your work home with you. But it's all worth it.
Awesome. Awesome. So how has the job changed since you first started?
I would describe it as not quite as much fun as it used to be in many ways. There are a lot
Now, why
of
is
cops,
that?
A lot of cops are leaving this job just because of the red tape, the politics, a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. I mean, I think Vermont, we're fairly insulated from the rest of the country as it pertains to violence and drugs and those types of things. But it's a different world than it used to be, for sure. It's a different world. COVID has certainly changed things. You take a court system that, pre-COVID, a court system that was able to keep up and do a pretty good job, and you throw COVID into the mix, and it's been a wicked challenge for everybody, for cops, for prosecutors, for the court system, for victims, for suspects. It has been a nightmare. And there's a lot of other political challenges going on that are kind of taking away a lot of the fun of doing this job. Nobody gets into police work because of the pay, and that's on the chopping block in some places. To make it even harder to recruit people. Being a cop sometimes goes up and down. After 9/11, everybody wanted to be a cop. And now we're at the opposite end of that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be a cop. We're
That's
hiring.
crazy.
Colchester is hiring, just for the record, several officers, several positions.
Rohan, you need a job?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, we're hiring. We'll talk about
Let's talk about Ozzy for a little bit. What does Ozzy do? What does he do at home? What's his favorite game, toy, treat? Tell us a little bit about Oz.
So,
the Oz
yeah,
man.
so
And
Ozzy-
first of all, hang on a second.
Yep.
Why did you call him Ozzy?
So when I got him, he had a name that it was a couple syllables longer. Didn't roll off the tongue. So I was looking for a new name and narrowed it down to a couple. And asked my wife and kids which ones they liked, and kind of the mutual thing was Ozzy. And the name Ozzy came up. Ozzy Osbourne, love Ozzy Osbourne. Shout out to you. And
Ozzy, if you're watching, man, we got a police dog named after you.
after
Awesome.
Ozzy. And my wife and I got engaged in an Ozzy Osbourne concert. So
sweet.
Ozzy plays a great
that's
role.
awesome.
And Ozzy, don't take this.
How was it? How was the concert?
It was a little crazy. The concert was great.
Okay,
it was
great.
raining too. Ozzy's a little crazy. The canine Ozzy is a little crazy.
Yes, I love it. Love it. Love it.
There are 2 Aussies in the state. This is 100% on me.
Yes.
The canine Aussie out of Newport is a fantastic dog, wonderful team with Officer Lillis.
Yep.
And they're doing some good work.
So they came first.
So yeah, and
That's
that's
right.
Big Aussie, and I have Little Aussie.
Okay, that's
So,
cool.
yeah.
We can differentiate.
Yep. So my Aussie, yeah, he's a crazy little Mal. In many ways, typical Malinois. He's not as crazy as some that I've worked with and trained with and such. He is nonstop. He's like a toddler that will go for 6 hours, and then 6 hours and 2 minutes he is snoring somewhere. and that's what Ozzy is like. He always has to have a toy. If there's more than one toy in the house, he has to have all of them.
Like all of them in his mouth?
In his mouth, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
That's great, awesome.
Chew toys, fire hoses, whatever the case may be, yeah. So, but he loves to work. And what a lot of people don't understand is work for him is no different than play. Find drugs, you get your toy. Find a bad guy, get your toy. Do a building search, get your
You mean
toy.
dogs don't have human minds?
I know.
Oh.
It's odd. It's very, very strange. Yeah. But everything's play for him. So whether we're at home or we're at work, life is fun for Ozzy. Life is fun. We do. with Taser, he was at the point where he'd been working almost 13 years. I didn't have to do a lot of off-duty training with him because he had it. He was so solid in everything he did. I still did some, but I didn't have to. With Ozzy being so new, I find I do a lot more training at home. Some days it's just simple obedience. Some days it's a little bit of agility. Some days my wife and my kids will lay tracks in our yard or across the street or down the road, whatever. He needs that just practice, repetitive
What's his
practice.
strength right now?
He loves bite work. He
Okay.
loves searching for decoys and such. He really loves that. Today was a drug day. I was very happy with his drug work today. Very, very happy. We had some good hard finds. And then tracking, he really enjoys tracking. But I think his ADHD kicks in sometimes.
Goes too fast.
And he goes too fast
Yeah.
and is too focused on something far ahead and forgets about the track is right at his nose.
Yep.
And gets distracted by the kids, the dog, the toy, the trees, the birds, whatever it is. But he's getting better and better all the time. And it's just, for me, it's just a matter of doing it more and more.
Yep. It's impressive, Dave, that you are still motivated, you still love the job, you're still giving 110%. It's very impressive, because anybody that's doing anything for 22 years, a lot of time there's massive burnout. I was a police officer for 21, and I'm like, I'm done, right? I'm done.
Yeah,
I was maxed out, so it's awesome that you do that. Don't forget, guys, watching this show, like it, share it. This is Thin Blue Line K9. We do board and trains, we have an agility course, we do one-on-ones, we do group classes. This is your one-stop shopping right here for any dog problems. We deal with any dog, size, any breed, any problem, all the way up to the worst aggression case you can imagine. We get those all the time. I have a great team here, awesome support, and just from behind the house and in front of the house. My wife is behind the house. She does all the paperwork, and if you have a problem with the schedule or anything like that, she's going to take care of that. And we're going to get it done here. So make sure you come to thinbluelinek9.net. Okay, so Melissa asked, what makes a good drug dog? And with marijuana being legal, how do you handle this?
All right. Wow.
Good question.
I love the question.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
So what makes a good drug dog? Some of it goes back to the dog's desire to play. So you could find some of the aspects of a police dog are totally different, but to get a good drug dog, if you have a dog that's willing to use their nose and work for something. I like toys, some people prefer food, but if they can use their nose and will work for something and keep working for it, you could probably train them to find drugs. I know, like, we use mostly shepherds, mals, and labs because you can train them to, well, not the labs, but you can train them to do bite work, building searches, tracking, and so on. Labs, drugs, and tracking. But if you want just a drug dog, if it's got a nose, so pugs are out. I've seen Chihuahuas being used. I've seen mixed.
So that right there makes one of my assistants is Nancy Davis. She loves Chihuahuas. She's probably happier than HELL that you just said. That Chihuahuas can be used as police dogs. So you just made her night?
Yep. So
there you go.
Yeah, those are the two big things. With marijuana being legal, so
is Ozzy trained to find marijuana?
So Ozzy's not trained to find weed.
Okay.
No.
So that's not a problem.
So that's not a problem. Yeah. Right. So during the transition time, we still have a few dogs that are still trained to find weed. We just have to ask a few more questions and try to clarify things. It's a long story, but they're still very useful. DMV still trains their dogs on weed because in a commercial vehicle, you can't have it at all. There are a few dogs that work in school districts a lot, so they still work their dogs on weed as well. I will still bring out weed every now and then to show and to be able to document that my dog does not find marijuana. So
Gotcha.
He's still a dog. He still sniffs at it, is curious, but he doesn't alert to it because it's not something he's trained to find. It's no different than bacon. He doesn't alert to bacon, so.
All right, I think that we're going to take a quick break, guys. And listen, when we come back, we're going to have Ozzy here,
We'll bring
right?
Ozzy in, yep.
And we're going to do a demo. Okay, I'm going to hold a sleeve. Ozzy's going to attack me. Hopefully, is he going to be nice to me?
I don't know. I don't
hope
think you
so.
should wear the sleeve, but anyways.
So make sure you come back, guys. Like, share this show, thinbluelinek9.net. Make sure you check it out. This is Dogwise, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
VT Livestream specializes in video streaming live events in real time with the utmost care and accuracy. We pride ourselves in our ability to connect friends and family virtually so they can share in life's most treasured moments. Weddings, birthdays, memorial services, sporting events, or conferences. Whatever the event, whatever moment you would like to share with your loved ones far away, we can help.
So the thing that separates Thin Blue Line Canine from any other program probably in New England, my experience training police dogs for 22 years. We also have an indoor state-of-the-art training facility, and we also have the only outdoor wilderness agility course in the Northeast. It's tailored towards what police dogs have to go through, and it's about a mile long, a very challenging course that taps into building self-confidence, building obedience, and teaching new skills to dogs. Board and Train is an intensive training program that really is tailored towards each specific dog's issues. So if you have a dog, for example, that has major aggression issues, I may do an assessment and I may recommend a 3-week board and train program. If you have a dog that just needs an increase in healing or recall percentage, we may do a shorter program, anywhere from 10 to 14 days. So it really depends on what the specific dog is, what the client wants. It's tailor-made for each specific dog. The first session of our board and train is the morning energy burn with obedience, which may include a fast walk, a play session, and basic obedience to include sit stays, recalls, and healing. Training session 2 is a fast-paced obedience session, which could include multiple fast-paced commands, a combination of agility and obedience, and a play session with obedience. Session 3 concentrates on agility. If it's a nice day, we will go on the Wilderness Canine course, which is the only one of its kind in the Northeast, and that includes a 1-mile run through the woods and 22 agility pieces. If it's an inclement weather day, we will do agility inside. Training session number 4 includes problem solving and socialization. That includes dog reactivity, human reactivity, any issues with recalls or healing, any specific problems such as chasing cars, bikes, or runners. Training session number 5 is technical obedience. So we're working on recall percentage. How many times does the dog come back on his or her own? Healing percentage. How often is the dog staying in place when we heal?
Good boy.
Also, sit-stay times and distance.
Por sit. Por heel.
So during our board and train program, we really treat your dog like they were our own. And we will take care of your feeding needs. If they have any specific medical issues, we will really follow any directions that the client gives us so that your dog is taken care of here just like they would be at home. And with an additional structured program of 5 training programs per day, a ton of exercise, and a ton of love and attention from all of our employees. Welcome back to DogWise, your headquarters for dog knowledge. I'm Tom Radford. I am a co-owner of Thin Blue Line Canine, and we're in our facility, our training facility right now with Vermont Police Canine Hall of Fame dog handler Dave Dewey of Colchester PD, and Canine Ozzy has finally arrived. So here he is right here in the flesh, guys. This is a certified police dog. He's been on the road for about 3 years. We're going to do a live bite at the end of this show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm going to be holding the sleeve, and hopefully Ozzy's going to hit the sleeve and not hit anything else, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So when we went to break, we were just about ready to answer another question. We had a question come in from Nicole that says, what can the public do to help support the program? Dave Dewey.
So I will say earlier, one of your guests made the comment of, thank you for your service. Those go so far. We appreciate all that. To support our program, one of the best ways is to go to Vermont Police Canine Association website. I think it's vtk9.com, and we're always doing things. We're selling a bunch of T-shirts and hats and all sorts of stuff there, and we have fundraisers all the time. In the fall, we're going to do our Green Mountain Iron Dog. We're still trying to work out details for
Actually,
that.
Laura Snow just asked that. 2021, is there an Iron Dog?
Yes, October 2nd, Laura. I told you.
Come on, Laura, get with the program.
And yeah, so that's a great fundraising thing, but that's more about PR and it's fun. But we do.
It's a blast.
Off of that.
Dave's the organizer of that whole event. Has been doing that forever, and he does a great job. And if you've never been to that, you can take your personal dog there and run them through with no practice at all. It's an awesome time.
Or you can get some practice on. There's a wilderness obstacle course that I've heard about.
Yes, Thin Blue Line Canine. We have our own wilderness
place to do it.
obstacle course. So we got a dog coming in. Ozzy's
That'll be
gonna.
fun.
We got dogs coming in and out. We have a dog training center here, so we expect dogs. We got a Roddy coming in right now, and Ozzy's taking note. Ozzy's like, "Hey, dude, what's up, man?"
I want to play with
So we have a 1 mile agility course. Thanks for mentioning it, Dave.
Yeah.
10 passes for $50. A 1 day pass is $8. You just go online. You go on thinbluelinec9.net. You sign up for anything, all the other stuff that's on there. Don't forget to like and share this page. So, what the heck were we talking about?
Oh God, I don't know.
We were talking about the Iron Dog, but we were talking before about, Nicole said about how to support the program. Sorry.
That's right. So yeah, Canine Association is the best way. Just go to the website and you'll see all sorts of opportunities. Follow the Canine Association on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And again, you'll always see stuff is coming up all the time on there.
Yeah, and all that money goes towards training and equipment and all that good stuff for the dog and the handler.
Yeah.
It's
there's
it's
no
valuable.
paid staff for these. So
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization, so it's awesome. So we got top 10 tonight. Top 10 is the top 10 dogs that are used for police work. Now, I asked Dave earlier, which dog is going to be number one? What did you say, Dave?
And I would have guessed the Malinois.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
You guessed the Malinois. Let's see if you're right, okay? So here we go. We're going to do top 10. All right,
Question first.
Oh, we got a question. Hang on a second. Let's see. Lauren says, are any of your dogs trained in finding guns, ammo, or bombs?
Okay, yes and no. About 50 police dogs in the state. Most of them are dual trained like Ozzy is, drugs and patrol. So with that, we do not find guns, bombs, those things. But we do find evidence.
But there are black powder dogs.
Yep. So, like with Ozzy specifically, if you're running from a crime, you toss your gun into the woods, that's evidence. The dogs are trained to find that. It's not specifically the gunpowder. We have other dogs, especially Fish and Wildlife. Their dogs are trained to find guns and ammo. Not so much for like the scenario I gave where a bad guy running away, but theirs is the focus started for Fish and Wildlife violations. But we do use them for things like that. I know they've been used for a variety of things.
Yeah, and Rob Sterling's the trainer of those dogs. He's on the canine committee with us. He's a great guy. He's really taken that fish and game program to the next level, and they do a lot of work at finding like illegal hunters and all that wildlife stuff. So they do a great job there.
And then bombs is a completely separate specialty. ATF usually does that type of searching.
Yeah. So good question, Lauren. Lauren's one of my employees, and she's always tuning in. Okay, so we're gonna segue into the top 10 dogs that are used for police work. What do you think, Ozzy? You got any guesses? I think he's probably guessing Belgian Malinois is going to be at the top, okay? So here we go. So I'm going to show you the picture, and then I'm going to tell you what it is. So top 10, if we had a drum roll, we would be there. So this dog right here, right? Who the heck ever thought this dog right here would be used for police dogs? Now this is worldwide, okay? Have you ever seen a dog like that? It's a Briard. Have you ever heard of that dog being used?
Nope.
No, me either. It's number 10. Okay. This one is going to keep my assistant Clay happy because he just got one of these. It's number 9 for top 10 breeds used for police dogs in the world is American Pit Bull Terrier.
Okay.
And he just got Apollo, awesome looking dog. In fact, he just came here for the first time today. Beautiful dog, wicked muscular, and just really intimidating looking, but just a sweetheart. All right, so number 8 on the list of the top breeds that are used for police work. This guy right here, giant schnauzer. Now, a lot of these are used over in Europe and foreign countries and stuff like that. I don't know if I've ever seen a giant schnauzer used here in the States, but who knows?
New Jersey Department of Corrections guy had one for a while.
Okay, there you go.
The handler was huge.
I stand corrected.
The dog was huge.
Huge deterrent,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay, so this dog right here, I've actually trained a dog like this. His name was Chief. He was a great dog. Shout out to Chief. And this is the number 7 dog. This one is used a lot in Europe. They're very intimidating dogs, very smart, very trainable. A Bouvier is number 7, okay? Number 6. This is more for tracking. You don't want this breed right here on your trail if you just committed a crime,
Can't
okay?
even see it, but I'm guessing a blood.
Yeah,
Yes.
It came in number 6, a bloodhound. You guessed right, Dave. This is the one dog you don't want coming out of the vehicle if you just committed a major crime and this guy's coming after you.
Can I say bloodhound? They've always fascinated me. I've never gotten to work a bloodhound. My understanding is that if you can teach a bloodhound to sit, you're doing pretty well. But they can track unlike any other
Yes,
creature on the planet.
that's exactly right. That's all they do is track 24 hours a day.
Yep.
That's the negative of having it as a pet, for sure. So most of us know this breed right here. This is number 5 on the top 10 dogs used in the world for police dogs. This guy, we have quite a few of them coming here. They're awesome breeds. Shout out to Matt Prouty, who had one as a police dog. Stay safe, my man. He's overseas. He just got launched over there, didn't he?
He was in the Army. He did 20
He was the
Rutland City PD.
Chief or deputy chief? Deputy chief of Rutland PD.
And then
A
went
great
back to
handler, great friend of all of us. So Doberman Pinscher, awesome dog. Okay, number 4. This guy right here doesn't look like a police dog, but guess what? Number 4 is the Labrador Retriever. Used a lot, obviously, for drug work, scent work, stuff like that. I'm sure a few of them out there are pretty good bite dogs and stuff like that, but I don't think they're technically used for bite work, although I've heard stories about it.
We've got several in Vermont.
Yeah.
Labs. They're phenomenal.
Now, number 3 surprised the heck out of me, I got to tell you. Number 3. This guy right here, I did not know he'd be number 3 in the world for top dogs used for police work. This guy right here is a boxer. We see a ton of boxers here. Wicked athletes, just amazing athletes and really tough dogs. I can see how they would be used. I didn't know they were number 3, so that's the big surprise of the night, Dave. Very big surprise. Now, drum roll. We got 2 left, okay? You guessed the Aussies breed, the Belgian Malinois, would be number 1, okay? Sorry, Dave. Sorry to tell you this. But they're number 2.
Obviously skewed.
Okay. They're number 2, and I think anybody that watches this show knows that I'm a very happy camper, okay? Belgian Malinois are number 2 top dogs in the world used for police dogs. Anybody that watches this show knows that I'm a diehard fan. I lay it on the table for this breed right here. The German Shepherd, baby, is number 1 in the world for police dogs. So once again, we rise to the top. Now, we had a dispute last week because we had the top 10 smartest dogs. German Shepherd was number 3. I disputed that. I'm going to write into the writer of that article to dispute it. But I'm pretty happy tonight.
2 things I have to add. One, I'm not surprised because even though I love working the Mals, I have a Shepherd at home because I love the breed. But as far as the smartest dogs go, a Malinois is probably not in the top 10.
Not in the top 10, Dave.
Nope.
Sorry.
Sorry
Sorry to tell
They
you.
are wonderful dogs, but they're not known for being super smart.
Yeah.
I compare the Malinois. They don't think before they do. They just simply do. Whereas shepherds will think
Yes.
and process a scene
Absolutely.
before they act.
Right.
Which both have their strengths.
They both have their strengths for sure.
A shepherd will try to outthink you.
Yeah.
Ozzy does not try to outthink
Right.
me. I don't
He
think
just
can.
does.
He just does.
Yeah.
He will
He's
go.
just waiting. He's waiting for the sleep.
Yeah.
How much time do we have in the show, Rohan? Keep going? Okay, so we're going to keep talking. So we're going to go back to fire away on the questions, guys. If you have any questions for Dave Dewey, Hall of Fame canine handler, his dog Ozzy. Throw some questions in. This is a great guy to talk to, has a wealth of knowledge. So no new questions came in. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite training memory? So we do a lot of training. So Dave's an instructor. I'm an instructor. I don't do it as much as I used to. Being an instructor is a challenge. It really is, because I can tell you from personal experience, sometimes I thought maybe 4 or 5 dogs would show up, and all of a sudden like 10 show up, and it's like, oh man, now what am I going to do? And a lot of times you have an agenda of what you want to do, and then somebody comes and says, hey, I got to work on this, so it completely throws you off. But do you have a favorite memory as an instructor?
Yeah, I was the instructor and a student, and it's kind of one of the challenges of working a dog well as a handler and being the instructor is I have to be both, depending on the day or the moment. We had a company come up from out of state. It was Iron Dog Canine. It was nothing to do with Iron Dog, just a coincidence. And a scenario we did was we would often use me and Taser as the guinea pigs for a scenario that we would do, just because if we screwed it up with me, at least by the time we got to the rest of the students in the class, we could fix a scenario. So I was a guinea pig every time. And we're up at Camp Kenya in Colchester. They were gracious enough to let us use their property. We had a car from Raddy's Salvage, so we could drive around a car, and if we wrecked it, nobody cared. And so the scenario was, picture this, I'm on patrol, I see a car on the interstate going the opposite direction. I know the guy is wanted for a variety of felony violent crimes. I go to stop the car, he runs, goes into Camp Kenya, I lose him for a minute. By the time I get to the car is empty, is wrecked into a tree, and the bad guy is starting to walk away. So I get there with my dog, and I'm ordering the suspect, stop, let me see your hands, stop, I'm going to send the dog, stop, I'm going to send the dog. And I get to the point where again, violent felony, I send Taser on the bad guy, and he immediately he's not running, he immediately turns around and starts shooting at me. So now I've got a dog.
This is a training scenario. We should mention, okay, not real life, just training.
So now the scenario is I've got me with a gun, bad guy with a gun shooting at me, and a dog already on his way to apprehend the bad guy. So what we did was, before the dog got to the bad guy, I'm shooting rounds down at him, continue the dog onto the bite. He bites, I approach tactically, and even more so to the subsequent teams that went through that scenario.
And you probably knew in that moment that you had a dog that would be courageous enough to, in a real life situation, to complete that task, most likely. You never know until you're in it.
And I had an adrenaline rush out of it, because I didn't know what the whole scenario was going to be like. So that was by far one of the best training scenarios. And,
that's awesome.
And a shout out to Iron Dog Canine for coming up and doing those things. But we do a mix, I can go on for hours about this, but we try to do a mix of training where we're just practicing a specific skill set, and then mix of training where we're actually doing scenarios like that.
Yeah,
ideally,
definitely.
when the handler doesn't know everything that's going on. And that was certainly
and
one.
really, like, training like it's real is key.
Yep.
Because you want training to be harder than real life.
Yes.
For sure. So, we're doing a break?
Question.
Oh, question. There's a question that came in. Do your dogs wear vests out in the field? Lauren asked. And then Nancy asked, what happens to the dogs who don't make the training cut?
Okay, so as far as body armor or vests, yes, they do. We've been working with a few different companies, a few different fundraising organizations. Again, go to our website and you can see some of those in our Facebook page. But yeah, they do have body armor. His body armor for a while was newer and better than mine. I've since got
rightfully so, man.
I know, right? He's definitely the better looking of the team. But yeah, it's the hard part is it doesn't fit quite like ours does. I mean, it's custom fit. Excuse me, to fit Aussie, but just the way the dogs are, it's not quite as easy to wear. But if I'm going to be assisting with a search warrant, going to a call where there's known guns, those types of things, he's in his body armor.
Yep.
Yeah,
great.
Sure. What about the dogs that don't make it? We have very few dogs that don't make it. In Vermont, it does happen, and to get it out there, they're not put down, they're not euthanized, they're not brought to the shelter. We find homes for them. Mm-hmm. So what most often happens, we've had this happen a few times over the years, is the handler that is working the dog that fails still keeps the dog.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
You develop that bond.
Yeah.
You can't just give them up.
Yep.
You just can't.
Absolutely. But it also brings out the point that not every dog makes it. You know, for me personally, it was my third dog that I had 2 dogs that flushed, and then my third dog was Stony, and away we went for sure.
Yeah.
So that was good. Let's see. Okay, so I asked you what your favorite training memory is. What is your favorite all-time memory ever of being involved in all of this? Like, what is the top of the pinnacle as far as like what is that memory?
Like some of the
Sorry to throw you.
No, that's okay. No, I've mentioned 2 of them. The track of the suicidal female, and also the some of the training scenarios are by far some of the best parts of this. We've had other tracks, the life-saving track. I remember a suicidal gentleman in Williston that took off, and it was New Year's Eve. And
it's always got to be when it's cold, doesn't it?
Oh, it's always cold. Yep. And we found him, and he was suicidal, and he had some violent tendencies, and we found him. And as my backup runners were putting handcuffs on him, fireworks were going off in Burlington. So it was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Kind of surreal, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. So Vermont, unlike most other states in the country, we don't have easy access to an air unit, to a helicopter. So doing a search warrant in Winooski where we had a helicopter, we had 2 canines, but having the helicopter so close you could feel the rotor wash.
Who was the other canine? Do you remember?
It was Mark Redmond from South Bronx.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Kaiser.
Shout out to Mark.
Yep. And oh my God, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Definitely.
Had another track. It was Milton police had seen a guy that they knew was wanted on some warrants. They went and stopped the car up at the Georgia Mobile. Again, wintertime, it's like 14 degrees. And the guy took off on foot. Well, the officer, Jason Porter, who eventually became a canine handler, knew I was on call. We immediately went up there. We had a great track. It started in the snow, so we had footprints. Ended up on the interstate without footprints, off the interstate, on the interstate, back and forth, across a frozen swamp, and ended up into a neighborhood that we had done some training with you in. And we were several minutes behind. Ozzy, can you stop? And we were several minutes behind him, but we were radioing to some of the perimeter units, hey, this is the neighborhood we're headed towards, be ready, we're going to be there shortly. And the suspect popped out between a couple houses, started to turn to run, and then just gave up his hands and gave up. He was cold, it was like 24 degrees that day, snowing, and he had jeans, t-shirt, and sneakers on. So he had some concerns about hypothermia, some frostbite things, those types of things going on. So again, if we weren't able to direct perimeter units to the area where this guy had popped out, I don't know if we would have found the guy. Another one, DUI in Colchester, guy took out a bunch of trees and mailboxes and street signs and such, took off on foot. Found him a short time later, passed out against a tree. Got him for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident and stuff.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, the calls go on and on, where we would not have found the people without having the dog there. That's the best. Drugs are bad, but finding drugs is great. I love taking bad guys' drugs. I love taking their cash, but even more so than that, I love taking their cars. Essex police had a vehicle for a while that was seized from a drug dealer after some drugs were bought. The dog alerted on the vehicle and a few other parts of it. But yeah, I love taking their cars.
Awesome. How are we looking? A little bit more time? Break. Okay, we're gonna guys. Listen, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, Ozzy doesn't know it yet, but he is going to do a bite. I'm gonna be holding the sleeve. Dave's gonna be sending his police dog on me. So stay tuned for that. Come back to Dogwise in a few. I am Tom Radford from Thin Blue Line Canine. Obedience is our business. I estimate that at least 95% of dog owners out there need some kind of help with their dog. Put it sit. Put it down. Good boy. Put it come. Put it sit. Put it heel. We specialize in training the owner how to train the dog. And we're using techniques and philosophies that I've obtained in a 22-year career training police dogs. I had an incredible career with my police dog, Stony. We are inducted in the Canine Hall of Fame at the Vermont Police Academy. Kaylee through. Go girl! We're training your dog, your pet dog, like we would at the Academy, a police dog. So we are shooting for high-end obedience and high-end balance and confidence. And really, when we use that system that we use down at the police academy and transfer it over to your dog, excellence occurs. And really, you walk out the door with a dog that has knowledge and skills that no other dog has, because nobody else is teaching these principles and these philosophies that I have obtained through decades of being an instructor through the police academy. The Thin Blue Line Canine will take any dog, any breed, any problem.
VT Livestream specializes in video streaming live events in real time with the utmost care and accuracy. We pride ourselves in our ability to connect friends and family virtually so they can share in life's most treasured moments. Weddings, birthdays, memorial services, sporting events, or conferences. Whatever the event, whatever moment you would like to share with your loved ones far away, we can help.
Welcome back, guys. This is Tom Radford at Thin Blue Line Canine. Make sure you like and share this. We're about ready to do a live bite. We are here with Hall of Fame canine handler, trainer, and longtime part of the canine program, Dave Dewey from Colchester PD. He's got his dog here, Canine Ozzy. As you can see, I'm wearing what's called a bite sleeve. It's protected. It's protecting my sleeve. As you can see, the rest of my body is not protected, okay? So there's always a chance that something screwy is going to happen here, but we're taking calculated risks here. But we're going to do something that we call a sit watch. So it's a simulated situation where I'm the bad guy, Dave gives me orders, I follow the orders, and then if I do Dave any harm at all, Ozzy's going to come out of that position and he's going to tag me, okay? So if you've never seen this before, it's really a cool thing to see, and if you have seen it before, then it's still a cool thing to see. So Dave, let's do it.
All right, bad guy, stop right there. Put your arms out to the side. You move, the dog's going to bite you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. All right, stay right there. Do not move.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, well, this is not the time you want to be horsing around. Just stay right there. Do you understand? When I'm doing this, there's always a temptation to pull Tom's leg here, but I'll refuse. I'll resist doing that.
All right, so we're doing a pat down without an assault. So what this is it's showing the control that Ozzy has. He didn't come and attack me because I didn't do Dave any harm at all, okay? So that was the first type of situation we do. The second type of situation, Ozzy's actually going to come and do his job on this one. It's called an apprehension.
Right. That guy, you just don't get it. Put your arms out to the side. Stay right there. Don't move, the dog bite you. Do you understand?
No, not really.
I figured you did.
If we could see Ozzy right now, he's just like shaking, ready to go.
All right, give me 10. Boy. Stop fighting my dog. Stop fighting the dog. Put your hands in the air. I'll call him off. Put your hands in the air and I will call him off. Stop assaulting my dog and I will call him off. Put your hands up and I will call off the dog. Put your hands up and I'll call him off. Don't. Boy, watch him. Stay. Boy. Stay. So, Ozzy doesn't take this personal. He doesn't care about Tom. But, given his level of excitement, we're not going to take any real chances.
No, we're not going to take any chances. Okay.
But I will give him a toy, because he did well.
Good job. Good job. So if anybody wants to know like what that felt like for me, I have no injuries at all, thankfully, to this sleeve, but I guarantee you if I didn't have this sleeve on, I'd be going to the hospital right now with some severe injuries. That was a hard bite. That was a rush for this dog. It was a rush for me. It was a rush for Dave. I haven't taken a bite in a little bit, so a little out of practice, but that was awesome. This is a dog that you do not want chasing after you if you just did something that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
If I can say, with the bite work that we do with the dogs, there are many dogs who go their whole career, especially in Vermont, without ever having a real live bite of a real person. I think it's a testament to things. One, the type of state Vermont is, and also the training that we do. We give warnings, like warn Tom, don't move, don't move, don't move. If you do, the dog's going to bite you. Sometimes by having the dog on a scene like that, it prevents violence. It prevents an assault on me, and it prevents you from getting hurt. If it does get to the point where the dogs bite somebody, we call it a bite and hold. So ideally, when the dog comes in and he bites whatever spot he takes a bite to, he's not gnawing, he's not biting here, then biting here, then biting here. It's one spot, one injury location. That's ideal. Things happen, it doesn't always work out that way, but we know somebody's going to get hurt, and we do everything we can to minimize the damage.
Awesome. So are we wrapping it up, Rohan? Okay, so I want to thank Ozzy for coming. I want to thank Dave Dewey for coming and having a great show. Don't forget to like and share this show. Don't forget about our newsletter. We have a newsletter on our website that will save you 10% off an initial consultation. This is the place to come for all of this type of training. This is my foundation, training police dogs with Dave, with all the awesome instructors that we've had over the years and our mentors and stuff. This is the foundation of what we teach here at Thin Blue Line Canine. So you can't find a better place to train dogs for any kind of problem that your dog has, all the way up to major aggression issues. We can handle anything here. We have the equipment, we have the skill, we have the knowledge, we have teamwork. We handle everything as a team, and this is the professional place to go. This is the place to go for all of your dog training needs. So I thank you very much for joining us. Please join us next week. Make sure you like and share this episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks. So the thing that separates Thin Blue Line Canine from any other program, probably in New England, my experience training police dogs for 22 years. We also have an indoor state-of-the-art training facility, and we also have the only outdoor wilderness agility course in the Northeast. It's tailored towards what police dogs have to go through, and it's about a mile long, a very challenging course that taps into building self-confidence, building obedience, and teaching new skills to dogs. Board and Train is an intensive training program that really is tailored towards each specific dog's issues. So if you have a dog, for example, that has major aggression issues, I may do an assessment and I may recommend a 3-week board and train program. If you have a dog that just needs an increase in healing or recall percentage, we may do a shorter program, anywhere from 10 to 14 days. So it really depends on what the specific dog is, what the client wants. It's tailor-made for each specific dog. The first session of our board and train is the morning energy burn with obedience, which may include a fast walk, a play session, and basic obedience to include sit stays, recalls, and healing. Training session 2 is a fast-paced obedience session, which could include multiple fast-paced commands, a combination of agility and obedience, and a play session with obedience. Session 3 concentrates on agility. If it's a nice day, we will go on the Wilderness Canine course, which is the only one of its kind in the Northeast, and that includes a 1-mile run through the woods and 22 agility pieces. If it's an inclement weather day, we will do agility inside. Training session number 4 includes problem solving and socialization. That includes dog reactivity, human reactivity, any issues with recalls or healing, any specific problems such as chasing cars, bikes, or runners. Training session number 5 is technical obedience. So we're working on recall percentage. How many times does the dog come back on his or her own? Healing percentage. how often is the dog
Put it down.
staying in place when we heel.
Good boy.
Also, sit,
Put it
stay
come.
times, and
Put it
distance.
sit. Put it heel.
So during our board and train program, we really treat your dog like they were our own. And we will take care of your feeding needs. If they have any specific medical issues, we will really follow any directions that the client gives us so that your dog is taken care of here just like they would be at home. And with an additional structured program of 5 training programs per day, a ton of exercise, and a ton of love and attention from all of our employees.
VT Livestream specializes in video streaming live events in real time with the utmost care and accuracy. We pride ourselves in our ability to connect friends and family virtually so they can share in life's most treasured moments. Weddings, birthdays, memorial services, sporting events, or conferences. Whatever the event, whatever moment you would like to share with your loved ones far away, we can help.
I am Tom Radford from Thin Blue Line Canine. Obedience is our business. I estimate that at least 95% of dog owners out there need some kind of help with their dog.
Put it sit. Put it down. Good boy. Put it come. Put it sit. Put it heel.
We specialize in training the owner how to train the dog. And we're using techniques and philosophies that I've obtained in a 22-year career training police dogs. I had an incredible career with my police dog, Stoney. We are inducted in the Canine Hall of Fame at the Vermont Police Academy.
Kitty through.
Go, girl! We're training your dog, your pet dog, like we would at the Academy, a police dog. So we are shooting for high-end obedience and high-end balance and confidence. And really, when we use that system that we use down at the police academy and transfer it over to your dog, excellence occurs. And really, you walk out the door with a dog that has knowledge and skills that no other dog has, because nobody else is teaching these principles and these philosophies that I have obtained through decades of being an instructor through the police academy. The Thin Blue Line Canine will take any dog, any breed, any problem.